And I want to add that it probably takes in a lot of courage, because when you look at a community marketing based effort, what you're really doing is you're opening up a space where even if something that you're doing people don't like, they can voice it out,
Yeah.
and that's something that brands are really afraid of, backlash. But I think in the modern era, brands that acknowledge negative feedback are the ones that really make a difference, because I mean at the end of it you need to show the people that follow you your model too, because if you don't do that, you're just going to be painting a larger than life picture that's not going to be possible to sustain in the long run. I mean, you will make mistakes, and what better way than to have the people who truly care about you vent it out, and what better way than to really address it on the spot and tell
Yeah.
people that, hey, you know what, sorry, we fucked up, we know that we are behind on the few, but this is us telling you that we will do better.
And you know what this reminds me of? Kind of OnePlus. If you've seen like, oh, if you are a OnePlus user, they have their own like forum and their own community that they've like built just for the users and to talk to each other and talk to the brand so that they can keep giving them feedback and keep telling them what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong.
True.
Like this is genuine platform they've created for themselves within their own like
Yeah,
products, right?
and I think that takes a lot of guts. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is being done really well with a by a few brands. I won't say like everyone is starting to get a hold of it, but the people who understood it and are actually like trying to make a good use of it are like miles and miles ahead of their competition now, just because of their these small like improvements that they do
Yeah, I
just by
mean,
listening
look
to their
look at
community.
the Harley Davidson community. I
Yeah.
mean, look at the Starbucks community. I mean, these are people that literally look at the brand as a lifestyle.
Hmm.
That look at the brand as an extension of the way that they live. And then for these people, uh, the brand is no longer a brand. Then it becomes an expression of their own personality.
Yeah.
Like somebody who loves Starbucks as a space is gonna try very hard to make sure that they fit into that community. I mean, you know, you've all heard of that stereotype of MacBooks and glasses and
Yeah.
somebody sitting in extremely well dressed and having a coffee at Starbucks. I mean,
Yeah.
I know a friend who doesn't go to, even though he loves there, and he's like, bro, I have a Windows laptop, and I would feel so insecure pulling out a Windows laptop in Starbucks and just sitting there. I mean, and that's
That's the first time I'm hearing that.
yeah, like
Wow, that's actually
just
a thing.
every time you go to a Starbucks, all you see is Mac, and
Okay.
you know people who don't fit into that community are actually very by
That's
the whole thing. I mean, you look at the Harley Davidson, right? I mean, I
so
don't think
basically, if you call out Mac, quite a lot of people will look at you at Starbucks, huh?
yeah, right?
Because
Yeah.
everybody's a Mac. Ha ha ha. I'm sorry. I that was. It's like if you're flying over France and just call out Pierre, 10 people will look at you. That kind of a joke.
And that's the
Uh,
whole thing, right? Like
yeah.
there are these brands that don't even have to invest in marketing anymore, at least
Mhm.
not as much as other brands. I mean, if you look at Harley, people
Uh,
are
sorry,
fanatical.
sorry. Can you repeat it?
See, if you look at brands like Harley,
Yeah.
people are fanatical. I mean, I don't think a Harley Davidson guy.
Oh my
Uh,
God. A little bit because.
I,
But can you just repeat the Harley part?
yes, I'm saying that I'm sure that brands, people that are diehard followers of Harley Davidson would never even consider buying a Triumph,
Yeah.
or would never consider shaving off their beard or stop wearing a leather jacket or dressing in that particular. I mean, you have that image, right, of a
It's
Harley
a
Davidson,
very, very specific image as well. I
very
think
specific
everybody
image.
like
And
knows
that
what you're thinking
community,
of.
yeah, I mean, like if you're like if somebody who doesn't fit that typecast, I don't think you'll ever buy a Harley, or if you buy one, you'll make
The
sure that you
the
sort of
funny
start.
thing is like in the showroom itself, I think they kind of look for specific qualities for you to be able to buy a
Yeah, right,
Harley.
like they have a filter on what kind of people could not buy the bike, and I'm sure like they turn many people
Yeah.
um
And you would think we are joking, but this is actually a true
Yeah,
thing. Like we aren't kidding when we say they have a specific base that they know are that like in love with riding, have that kind of a nature, suit their personality and the brand's personality itself, and that's why this community was built, right? That
true.
they shared this love for just being a rogue adventurer kind of a person, just like a traveler, a loner, whatever you want to call that. Or rather, they aren't loners though. They are kind of like a pack of people who
Correct. I mean,
have a
they're their
very
own. They just need their own people. They hang out at
yeah
similar bars and uh, they go riding together as a troop. And
yeah.
I think that's how powerful a community can be. I mean, you don't need anybody else then.
hmm I think that's what they do really well, and I think they're one of the best examples you can kind of bring up when we talk about making a personality for yourself or having a brand create like something much larger than just like a motorcycle company. So
True.
props to Harley to that, dude. Like, oh my god. But another brand that comes to my head when it comes to like communities is Lego. Like
Mm.
it's funny to think about like Legos would have such a huge love and such a big following of people who are so like die hard about creating new structures, new kind of designs for this particular like block game thing that we all had as kids,
All
right?
I
Like
can think of
adults.
Lego is one piece stuck to another and the other one just being like, Lego of me, Lego. That's all.
Oh my god,
I'm sorry, I
yo.
reduced the brand to a meme, but that's all
That's
that
fair
comes to me.
enough. But the thing is that like the love for people, they have genuine forums of people creating their
Yeah.
own art structures, art pieces with Lego, and posting about it. And then you know what? Sometimes like some of these designs that these adults create, or rather these kids and adults together, or families create, are
Mhm.
actually made into sets by Lego.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Right,
brand,
that's
I've heard
yeah, the
that.
brand really makes them into a set, and that's what created like kind of fanned the flames for this community in a way, so that
True.
the interaction that the brand itself had with the people, that you know what, we encourage you to be creative, we encourage you to design, we encourage you to do what you want to do with these small pieces, with these small blocks, and we'll provide you with anything and everything you want, be as creative as you want, and people went with people. That's why like Lego has such a big following today. They have their own theme parks today, just because of the fact that like there's
Legoland, yeah.
that much. Yeah, the brand, like there's Legoland, right? Like people love that particular uh, thing, like that idea of Lego so much that they created movies, they created theme parks, they've created such a big empire out of
True.
just a small like kids
Yeah, and
game
you
that
can't
used to
fake
be
that. I mean, I don't.
to
There's
yeah
there's a lot of it is organic. I mean, you really need to have a very strong community that really believes in the
yeah.
product. And then the product becomes something larger than life.
And I think the main thing is like the brand itself encouraged people to make stuff, be as free with their product as they could, and just because they didn't restrict them, it led them to become something bigger.
True.
And I think that's what's beautiful about that particular like ideology, that you know what, be yourself and kind of express yourself through our product, because there's not just one way of doing it. You can do it your way and it would still look beautiful.
Correct.
So that's one of the like I think really smart things they ended up doing really early on as Lego, as a brand as well, because I think I don't know if they had this ideology since the beginning, but they did like encourage this since the beginning, and that's what's led them to where they are. So I guess you know what, like they had a vision for the future that really took them that far.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're an entrepreneur listening to this, if you're somebody who's looking to build a business,
Yeah.
I mean, just remember this thing that um, you have this hierarchy, right? At the base level, what you can do is create a product or service, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you can do to augment it is create a brand. But I think at the top, what you can really do to create the most meaning is to have a because the community is really an acid test of how many people would choose your product or your service over a similar product.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we're living in a world where we aren't really creating a lot of new things, and nothing's stopping anybody from waking up tomorrow and saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to create a product or a service that's extremely similar to yours, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be cocky enough to set up shop right next to you or have a website that sounds very similar to you. In case you've only been invested on a product or a brand level, you're going to find it very difficult to compete with these Me Too services. But I think if you can really create a community where you actually invest as much time into understanding people as you do into understanding
Yeah.
a I think you could really have something worth fighting for.
I think the day you kind of start understanding your audience or your people, and is the day you start understanding what you are, and you are as your own personality as well, right? The That's how you'll develop it, and that's how you kind of grow into a bigger community, right? So I think that's one of the biggest or most important things you can look into, and this starts at the like I think today and especially in this era, it starts right at the beginning, right when you're starting to build your brand or your company. You need to start thinking of how you're gonna communicate and how you're gonna like bring out what are you giving that is more than just the right or just the
True.
service itself, like what is it that makes you you. And
You.
you is back.
Make you.
You is an old friend of ours.
Yeah,
But
you is the third podcaster
yeah,
who's really who doesn't talk a lot.
a silent partner as you would.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically it is what it is, right?